Right now on Good Morning America First Look, a decision affecting your money. The Federal Reserve expected to lower interest rates today amid troubling new evidence that Americans are falling further behind on their bills.
The suspect in the Charlie Kirk shooting is officially charged as new messages from the accused killer are revealed. Authorities also now focusing on an online platform popular with gamers. This as the Attorney General clarifies her controversial remarks about hate speech.
An ABC News exclusive, one-on-one with a teenager who lost her leg and her hand in a shark attack.
The growing controversy involving Publishers Clearinghouse. Sweepstakes winners promised lifetime payouts, but what happens now that the companies file for bankruptcy?
Parents who say their children died by suicide after interacting with artificial intelligence, bringing their stories to Congress and demanding change.
New trouble for the man known as the Tinder swindler, accused of scamming women on a dating app out of millions of dollars.
A touching moment at a Major League ballpark. And what followed was even more special.
And later, the cheating scandal rocking the World Stone Skimming Championships.
From ABC News, this is Good Morning America First Look.
Good Wednesday morning. I'm Perry Russell.
Good to be with you. I'm Morgan Norwood. We begin with the U.S. economy, and the big news is expected today.
The Federal Reserve is expected to lower interest rates. The question is, will it be enough to jumpstart the job market? This morning, Wall Street is awaiting a highly anticipated move by the Federal Reserve. The central bank is expected to cut interest rates today for the first time this year. For the typical American, that could mean paying less on car loans and credit cards, even as your savings accounts take a hit. Today's move coming as more data shows a slowdown in the job market.
What the Fed is really trying to do here is to stimulate hiring in the economy amid a stalling jobs market. The Fed chairman, Jerome Powell, has acknowledged one reason that the jobs market is facing challenges right now is because of a slowdown in immigration. So take this stat. So far this year, between January and June, data from Pew Research and the Census Bureau shows that there have been 1.2 million fewer immigrants in the workforce.
It's not just the job market raising concerns about the economy. Americans' credit scores are falling at the fastest pace since the Great Recession. More people are falling behind on their bills due to inflation and near record high credit card rates. Young adults just starting out are among the hardest hit.
Gen Z is being hit and being replaced to a certain extent, at least anecdotally, by AI for some entry-level positions.
When it comes to buying a home, some good news. Mortgage rates are already falling in anticipation of today's rate cut. They're down to 6.13%. That's close to a 3-year low. Stocks have been surging in recent weeks. Today, Wall Street will be watching to see if Fed Chair Jerome Powell gives any clues about more rate cuts in the near future.
Now to the Charlie Kirk shooting investigation. New messages from the accused killer have been revealed as authorities also focus on a platform online that's popular with gamers. Here's ABC's Lionel Moise.
This morning, 1 week after the killing of Charlie Kirk, authorities say they're investigating more than 20 people with alleged ties to suspect Tyler Robinson on the online messaging platform Discord.
And we're also going to be investigating anyone and everyone involved in that Discord chat.
Officials trying to pinpoint if anyone knew ahead of time about the plan to attack Kirk. Tyler Robinson is now charged with 7 counts, including aggravated murder, after appearing before a judge.
State of Utah versus Tyler James Robinson. Could you state your name?
Tyler James Robinson.
Prosecutors outlining the case against him.
DNA consistent with Robinson was found on the rifle's trigger.
Also revealing messages between Robinson and his roommate, with whom officials say he was romantically involved.
The roommate received a text message from Robinson which said, "Drop what you're doing, look under my keyboard." The roommate looked under the keyboard and found a note that stated, quote, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it."
Prosecutors saying Robinson texted, "I had enough of his hatred."
Over the last year or so, Robinson had become more political and had started to lean more to the left, becoming more pro-gay and trans rights oriented. She stated that Robinson began to date his roommate, a biological male who was transitioning genders.
Robinson also allegedly referred to the gun used as Grandpa's rifle, expressing concern that his father would be upset if it wasn't returned. Authorities revealing it was Robinson's mother who recognized him in the images released after the shooting before she and his father convinced him to surrender. The case now sparking bipartisan calls to turn down the temperature of today's political debate. Former President Obama last night calling this an inflection point, saying the central premise of our democratic system is that we have to be able to disagree and have sometimes really contentious debates without resorting to violence. Attorney General Pam Bondi saying this about hate speech in America.
We will absolutely target you, go after you if you are targeting anyone with hate speech, anything, and that's across the aisle.
Those comments triggering backlash over First Amendment concerns. Bondi then issuing a statement saying, "My intention was to speak about threats of violence that individuals incite against others. Freedom of speech is sacred in our country, and we will never impede upon that right." A former Homeland Security official is now raising concern about the administration's ability to confront domestic terrorism. The official from Trump's first term saying resources have been diverted instead to immigration and drug enforcement. As for the case against Tyler Robinson, prosecutors say they will seek the death penalty. Morgan, Perry.
Lionel, thank you. The director of the FBI is back on Capitol Hill today. He faces a grilling over the Jeffrey Epstein case amid demands for more files to be released. Things got heated yesterday. ABC's Nicole D'Antonio has the story. Nicole, good morning.
Perry, good morning. FBI Director Kash Patel was asked about Jeffrey Epstein's trafficking of young women, and he said there's no credible information that Epstein trafficked victims to anyone besides himself. Now, Patel was also asked why Epstein's associate, Ghislaine Maxwell, was moved to a minimum security prison after her recent interview with the Justice Department. Patel said that was a decision made by the Bureau of Prisons. Now, Democratic Senator Adam Schiff did not buy that explanation, leading to this heated confrontation.
You want the American people to believe that? Do you think they're stupid?
No, I think the American people believe the truth, that I'm not in the weeds on the everyday movements of
you're
inmates.
Not in the weeds?
What I am doing is protecting this country, providing historic reform, and combating the weaponization of intelligence by the likes of you. And we have countlessly proven you to be a liar in Russiagate, in January 6th. You are the biggest fraud to ever sit in the United States Senate. You are a disgrace to this institution and an utter coward. You are a political buffoon at best.
And Director Patel also defended his record, denying accusation that he's carried out politically motivated firings at the Bureau. Perry.
Nicole D'Antonio live in Washington. Nicole, thanks. President Trump and the First Lady are in England. British leaders preparing to give them the royal treatment. Protesters are already trolling Trump, projecting images of him with Jeffrey Epstein onto Windsor Castle, where he is spending today with King Charles. Trump is the first world leader to be honored with a second state visit to the UK.
The former head of the CDC testifies before the Senate today. Susan Monterez is expected to contradict Health Secretary RFK Jr. She plans to tell lawmakers that she was pushed out for refusing to pre-approve vaccine recommendations without reviewing evidence. Meanwhile, health insurers are now promising to cover all the cost of all vaccines based on last year's recommendations.
An Alabama teenager is thriving 15 months after a shark attack where she lost her leg and her hand. Lulu Gribben now enjoys playing golf and water skiing thanks to prosthetic limbs. She was attacked at a Florida beach and described the experience to our Michael Strahan.
So I started swimming as fast as I could, and then like in the movies, they're like, oh, you can't be like frantic or else they're going to come after you. So I was like, oh my gosh, I can't be swimming as fast as I can. So I just stopped swimming. And then next thing I know is that I raised my hand out of the water and there just was no hand there.
Do you remember what that felt like?
I was in shock. I could never feel the shark bite at all.
Later on Good Morning America, how she's using her experience to help change lives.
Well, turning now to the weather, our home on North Carolina's Outer Banks collapsed in the pounding surf. Take a look. It was not occupied and may have been weakened by Hurricane Aaron's flooding last month. Video also shows a transformer catching fire this week during another storm in the Outer Banks. Let's check your Wednesday forecast.
Good morning. Two rare reports of landspout tornadoes in Colorado on Tuesday. We could have more severe weather in a small area from eastern Colorado, New Mexico, and Texas, and then rare thunderstorms all the way up into the northern plains. Summer-like warmth, Great Lakes over the Mississippi and the Ohio Valley, and that warmth is headed eastward. Be along the I-95 corridor by Friday, where we peak in temperatures about 80 degrees in New York, and then we'll cool off over the weekend. Watching two waves in the tropical Atlantic. This one could become Gabrielle, but still curves in the Atlantic. Close call with Bermuda as we go into next week. That's your forecast. I'm ABC News meteorologist Lee Goldberg.
Coming up, paying tribute to Robert Redford.
That story, but first, they were promised lifetime payouts, but now that Publishers Clearinghouse has filed for bankruptcy, what happens to those forever prizes?
And Costco is recalling a product so dangerous it doesn't even want you to return it to the store. Back now with a very lucky man at this gas station in Nebraska. He was cleaning his truck's windshield when an out-of-control driver slammed into a pole and nearly ran him over. Look at that there. That driver allegedly going 65 miles an hour in a 40 zone. The driver of the car is okay.
What a close call. Oh, we turn now to the growing controversy involving Publishers Clearinghouse and its big money winners.
For decades, Publishers Clearinghouse surprised people on their doorsteps with oversized checks and promises of a lifetime of prize money. But in April, the company filed for bankruptcy, leaving some winners without their so-called forever payments.
Ready to win $5,000 a week for life from Publishers Clearinghouse?
One man who was promised $5,000 per week for life back in 2012, enough to retire on, telling KGW-TV in Oregon he no longer receives the money he relied on.
I'm pretty sure I'm going to lose my home. Sold my jet ski, sold my trailer. I had a little bit of money left over, and that's what I'm living on right now.
Publishers Clearinghouse reported liabilities of between $50 and $100 million, including the promised prizes. But federal court records show its assets only totaled between $1 and $10 million. Gaming platform ARB Interactive acquired the company out of bankruptcy this summer and established a new platform for sweepstakes opportunities. But ARB says it's not responsible for paying out prizes issued by Publishers Clearinghouse before July 15th, saying, "We understand the concerns surrounding unpaid prizes owed to past winners and are taking decisive steps to ensure that every future prize winner can participate with absolute confidence." I didn't think this would ever happen. The news hitting Tamar and Matthew Veach hard. They say they were receiving nearly $200,000 a year, but the payments have stopped. They told the New York Times, "We're literally in a worse spot now than we were when we won."
And Publishers Clearinghouse did not respond to our request for comment. Prize winners may be eligible to receive assets through the bankruptcy process.
Well, this next story gives a whole new meaning to popping bottles. Costco is sounding the alarm about spontaneously shattering bottles of Prosecco. They were sold in 12 states across the Midwest and South between April and August. They're being recalled, but Costco does not want them back. The company says you should wrap the bottles up and throw them away. Refunds are being offered.
All right, well, coming up, an arrest after the theft of Beyonce's unreleased music.
Also ahead, new trouble for the man known as the Tinder swindler, accused of scamming women on the dating app out of millions. A suspect has been arrested in Georgia for the theft of Beyonce's unreleased music and tour plans. Investigators say Kelvin Evans broke into a rental SUV used by Beyonce staff. Her hard drives with songs were stolen and have not been recovered.
Well, parents who say their teenagers died by suicide after interacting with AI chatbots brought their stories to Congress to demand change. They testified about the dangers of the technology, with one telling lawmakers what started as a homework helper turned into a suicide coach. He's suing OpenAI over his son's death. In another case, a mom is suing a different AI company, saying her 14-year-old took his own life after talking to a chatbot.
Sewell spent the last months of his life being exploited and sexually groomed by chatbots designed by an AI company to seem human, to gain his trust, to keep him and other children endlessly engaged.
Those parents are now urging lawmakers to pass laws aimed at better protecting kids online.
Now to the man known as the Tinder swindler. He is in trouble yet again. This morning, Shimon Hayud has yet again been arrested for fraud, accused of stealing more than $50,000 from a woman overseas.
He was smart and funny and very impulsive.
The convicted con artist was the subject of the 2022 Netflix documentary, The Tinder Swindler. It detailed allegations that Hayut used the dating app Tinder to pose as the son of a billionaire diamond mogul to lure women into relationships with private jets and bodyguards.
$30,000, $140,000. His life depended on me.
Before turning around and claiming he needed financial support and allegedly fleecing the women out of some $10 million.
I was the proper milking cow for him.
Cecilia Philhoy says she met Hayut on Tinder and he swept her away on lavish trips. A short time later, she says, he told her he had enemies and asked her to extend him a line of credit so his purchases would be booked in her name, keeping his supposed enemies off his trail.
How much are we talking here in sort of all the loans, all the money that you gave to Simon or he defrauded from you? What's the ballpark figure?
£200,000.
But you also then were made liable for the legal fees.
Yeah, that was hilarious.
Philhoy spoke to ABC News last month after releasing a book about the con.
Yes, I am the girl from The Tinder Swindler.
Now she travels the world as a motivational speaker, warning people about online dating scams. As for Hayut, he was sentenced in Israel back in 2019 to 15 months in prison for fraud, but served only 5 months. Now under arrest in the nation of Georgia, he's facing more prison time. He's long denied the charges and claims he's a legit businessman.
Did you scam those women? Did that happen?
No.
Hayut's lawyer says they're fighting to dismiss the new charges.
Well, coming up, the tributes to Robert Redford.
Plus, a beautiful moment at the ballpark. What followed was even more special. Time to check the pulse, and we begin with pomp and pageantry for President Trump's state visit to the UK.
Yeah, tonight's lavish white tie dinner at Windsor Castle will be held in St. George's Hall, and it takes 5 days just to lay out the 160-foot table with 6 glasses at each place sitting, and it takes 8 people 3 weeks just to polish all of that silver.
Every detail must be inspected by King Charles. Next, tributes to the legend, Robert Redford.
The actor and Oscar-winning director died at his Utah home. He was 89.
Journalist Bob Woodward, who Redford played in All the President's Men, said Redford used any platform he had to help make the world better.
Redford and Jane Fonda starred in 5 movies together, Fonda calling him a beautiful person in every way, and Meryl Streep, who co-starred with Redford twice, saying one of the lions has passed. Well, next, a real family affair at the Mets game against the Padres.
It all started with the national anthem. That is Katia Lindor, the wife of Mets star Francisco Lindor, playing the national anthem, her family looking on there. And it was a good luck, apparently. Frankie Lindor hit a home run in the second inning, and the Mets won.
That's the Mets.
Next, a cheating scandal that's rocketing the World Stone Skimming, real thing, championships in Scotland.
Oh yeah, several contestants were caught bringing in stones that had been modified by hand.
So the rules say the stones must be naturally formed. The cheaters were disqualified. Finally, Halloween 6 weeks away.
Yeah, check out this costume channeling the Addams Family. She was inspired by the Netflix series Wednesday.
No word yet on how she created that illusion of that creepy little hand there.
More news next. Back now and checking more top stories. A judge has tossed out state terrorism charges against Luigi Mangione in the murder of healthcare CEO Brian Thompson. The judge saying there's no evidence Mangione wanted to terrorize the public, but the second-degree murder charge still stands and could carry a life sentence.
A coroner in Mississippi says there's no evidence a black college student was attacked before his death. Trey Reed was found hanging from a tree. Critics argue it's too early to rule out foul play and want another investigation.
2 adults are under arrest in Milwaukee after 6 children were found locked in a storage unit. Authorities not saying if those suspects are related to the kids, who range in age from 2 months old to 9 years old.
Israel says this new ground offensive in Gaza City could take several months. Hundreds of thousands of Palestinians are fleeing the city.
Let's take you outside. Today's weather: rain from D.C. to Boston and showers and storms across the plains, where tornadoes are possible in some areas.
And finally, one baseball player's personal cheering section.
They go by Grandma. Danny News explains.
Here comes Webb and a swing and a miss.
For San Francisco Giants ace Logan Webb, his 2 secret weapons may not be his sinker and his changeup.
How long have you guys been fans of Logan Webb?
since he was born.
Logan's grandmothers, Patty and Jan, have been cheering him on since his first game only about 100 miles away in Rockland, California. Actually, Jan even remembers throwing to Logan when he was 3 years old, right after he would say,
Throw the ball, Bama, throw the ball with his big bat. And I'm out there saying, Grandma's just not very good at throwing the ball. Throw the ball.
But 17 years ago, Patty and Jan's relationship transformed under unfortunate circumstances. Their husbands, Al and Jerry, both passed away within 9 months of each other. And that's when Patty had an idea.
So I said, why don't you just stay? Why don't you just move in?
Got him. Nearly 2 decades later, these roommates tell me their entire lives now revolve around the Giants, who were already their favorite team. When Logan was pitching in the minors, they took a road trip to Oregon to see him play. And then in 2019, when Logan finally made his big league debut,
7 strikeouts in 4 innings, and the Logan Webb family fan club, they love it.
In fact, nowadays, they even love to send him texts before his starts with words I've certainly never heard my grandma say.
I send him some gifts and I tell him, kick baby, kick.
Well, he clearly appreciates it. In a recent interview, the two-time All-Star told MLB.com, quote, I would say they're my biggest fans. They've been my biggest fans for a long time.
Got him.
But I think you could argue that as much as they are fans of Logan's, they are equally gigantic supporters of each other.
I mean, we're like sisters.
And guys, when Logan was in Little League and travel ball, Patty and Jen even used to bring the coaches muffins and coffee during practice because of course they did.
Of course they are. I mean, grandmas are like good Wi-Fi. They keep the whole house connected, right?
I love it.
And that's your Good Morning America First Look.
Have a great Wednesday.